Please be aware, in this podcast series we talk about all areas of safeguarding, which some people may find upsetting. So please make sure you're okay listening to today's topic. Be mindful of those around you, such as children, that you might not want to listen in. Hi, I'm SSS Safeguarding Director Sam Preston.
And I'm former head teacher and content author Sara Spinks.
So today we're talking about doxing, and I'm willing to bet lots of people won't be familiar with the term.
Well, I have to say, in all my years as the head teacher, I've never heard of it.
Well, you're probably not alone, Sarah. So whilst you might not be familiar with the name, you will be familiar with the area it describes, though.
Okay, nice.
So doxing is the term that's used to describe the online abuse of publishing private personal information about a person on the internet without their consent, with the intent to cause harm and distress.
So what sort of information are we talking about, Sam?
Well, anyone can be hacked. We know that, and information stolen, but it's not always information that's been hacked. So just take a moment to think about the sort of information that you willingly share online, say through social media.
So I might share pictures or texts of places I've visited, holidays, meals out, or, things like celebrations with families and friends, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's quite common, isn't it? But there are certain things that you probably wouldn't share to the public openly online. For example, your actual address, maybe the registration of your car, your telephone number, and there might be other sort of things like your health status, for example. So to give a bit of an example, I write blogs regularly about my garden. However, my address ID is private. I make sure no photos reveal my address.
No, I'd definitely not share that information as well.
Yeah. Well, given our line of work, that doesn't surprise me. But unfortunately, lots of people share lots of private information like that openly, which can then be exploited.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm just thinking about some of the people I'm connected with on social media, and they practically document every minute of their day, what they've had for breakfast, etc.
I know, they do. And they do that without considering, how they could then be vulnerable to doxing. They also have lots of personal and private information on devices, which, when they're then hacked, provide material for doxers.
Oh, yeah, I remember actually reading about this happening to Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. Now, she was a target of doxing, and hacking, and nude photographs were shared, as well as her private financial information. In fact, lots of celebrities have been victims of doxing.
So why do people dox? Is that the right word? Dox?
Yep. So doxing, it can be motivated really by a variety of intentions. So it might be to intimidate or harass a person. It might be to encourage others to harass or abuse that targeted individual. It might be, exposure of actions or behaviours the perpetrator perceives as wrong, or in their view, unjust, or even, for blackmail or extortion. As I've said, in some cases, perpetrators may not only share information to cause harm, but they may also build on this and encourage others to, harass the victim, so they sort of whip that up and they escalate the impact.
So is doxing a crime?
Well, currently at the time of recording, doxing's not a specific offence. In lots of ways, it's a little bit similar to, if you think about, we've now got a specific offence of upskirting. And prior to that, the actual practice of what people were doing to upskirt, was actually pursued under different laws. But then that was a little bit haphazard. So then we had that specific upskirting becoming an offence. So at this time of recording, doxing's not a specific offence, but if it's done with malicious intent, which leads to harassment, then of course the Protection of Harassment Act that applies. So under the Act, it is illegal to engage in a course of conduct that amounts to harassment, cyber stalking, or identity theft of another person.
So I suppose we really need to think about what information we freely share. And I'm also thinking about taking time to place restrictions on social media platforms, like those privacy settings, and making sure they're all in place.
Yeah, and that's something, you and I have talked about a lot in podcasts and also in articles and other things that we've done, really just trying to get people, because I think it's something that people do get quite complacent about, and it's particularly important if, for parents to be thinking about that in terms of their children's access to social media. But I'm thinking about privacy and visibility settings. It's essential to look at those and get them right, and just take the time to think about what posts reveal.
Absolutely. So just thinking about schools, what should they be doing, do you think?
Well, awareness, as always, Sarah, I know this is something we promote all the time. Awareness is key. As part of safeguarding practice, I'd say it's essential that both staff and pupils are aware of the term. They understand what it means. They know the measures to protect against it happening, and what to do if, their personal information is shared without consent. All safeguarding policies and procedures for online safety should include details on doxing and the measures that the organisation, because the organisation has that responsibility to make sure that, everybody's aware and knows how that will be dealt with if it's, if it occurs, So all the measures the organisation's taken to safeguard staff and children should be documented in those policies.
Yeah, and thinking about pupils, it's essential, I think, really, that parents are made aware of doxing. Not only how to set parental controls, but monitor their child's social media use and how to get content removed from platforms if they need to.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got some of this information in the parental resource area of our website, which we've actually, we're encouraging schools to backlink to it from their websites. As I've said earlier, awareness is the key to prevention. However, if you are or you think you are a victim of doxing, contact the police. If this involves a pupil, then you can also get support from the school's designated safeguarding lead. They will help you progress it. You're not experiencing this alone. Help is out there, but seek help straight away. It's not something to try and sort out yourself, really. So, the malicious nature of doxing attacks, they're designed to be extremely distressing. And once it's started, it won't go away. So seek help immediately.